Here are the directions for Lesson 14-5, Exploring Weight. Earlier this morning we were talking about things that are heavier or lighter than each other. So we're going to take a look at guided practice where it says circle the object that weighs more. Would it be a dog bowl or a dog bone? And you can see what they did is they circled the dog bowl. Would weigh more than the dog bone. Okay, so let's take a look at number 2. You have cherries or a watermelon. Think about which one would weigh more. If you thought the watermelon would weigh more, you are correct. Good job. And then number 3, which would weigh more? A shoe or a tie, like a man wears with his dress shirt? If you said the shoe, you are correct. Good job. All right, let's take a look at do you understand? It says name 2 objects that you think weigh about the same. How can you check your answer? Okay, well, the 2 objects I was thinking that would weigh the same would be a crayon. So I'm going to write the word crayon. And maybe a colored pencil. So I'm going to say crayon and colored pencil. And as you can see, I have to write a little bit bigger on my iPad, where you might be able to write a little bit smaller on your paper, so it will fit on your paper. Unlike me writing on my iPad, it doesn't necessarily fit all the letters I'm writing there. So I named 2 objects that I think weigh about the same, a crayon and a colored pencil. Then it says, how can you check your answer? So let's think about our lesson that we were doing on the front of the page of how we could check our answer. One way would be to weigh each object on a scale. So what you could say is, how could you check your answer? You could say, I would use a scale. So then you will have to find some room on your paper to write the best you can and write, I would use a scale. And if you don't have room to write all of those words that I just wrote for some reason, then you can just write the word scale, and I will know what you mean by checking your answer to see which if the objects weigh about the same. Okay? All right, when you're ready, let's take a look at the independent practice. Independent practice. And there's those definitions again at the top of your paper on the Visual Learning Bridge. The word heavier, if something is heavier, then the side of the scale would go down, remember? And then if the object is lighter, the side of the scale would go up. Okay, just a reminder for that, because that's the information you'll need for independent practice. Number 4, circle the object that weighs less. So make sure you are looking at the object that would weigh less. Okay, would it be a car or a motorcycle? Which one would weigh less? Circle that object now. Okay, number 5, which would weigh less? An elephant or a mouse? Okay, and then number 6, it looks to me like that is a kickball or a wagon. Which would weigh less? Okay. All right, let's take a look at reasoning at the bottom here. It says circle the best choice. Which object can you put on the right side of the scale to make the scale look like this? So what you have to do is think about which object at the bottom of your page. Would it be the box of crayons? Would it be a paint can or a paintbrush? Which object would you put on this side of the scale to make it stay up like that? So basically, since that side's going up, you're looking for an object that would be lighter than that box of crayons that's going down, okay? So you'll circle the object, either the box of crayons, the paint can, or the paintbrush. That would be lighter than the box of crayons that are going down on the scale. And you'll just have to circle that item, okay? All right. And when you're ready, go ahead and turn to the back. Okay, and let's take a look at number 8 on the back, where it says, suppose you place a notebook on the left side of a balanced scale. You place a ruler on the right side of the balanced scale. Draw how this balanced scale would look. Okay, so you are going to be drawing a balanced scale of some sort. Okay, I got you started there, but what you're going to do is you'll draw the line, okay, and the notebook would go on the left side. So I am going to put an L on this side for the left side, and then your ruler is going to go on the right side, okay? And then you will have the line going across the top here, okay? And then you will place the ruler over here on the right side where it has the R, and your notebook on the left side where it has an L. Draw how the scale would look, okay? So think about which object is heavier, which object is lighter, and that will depend on how this scale would look. If it's going to go down on the left side, or is it going to go up on the left side? Okay, so really think about that. Don't draw exactly what I've drawn there until you realize which one is heavier, and that side would go down, and which one is lighter, that side would go up. Okay, so make sure you do that, because your scale shouldn't look exactly like mine. That line at the top there, that's pretty bold. One side's going to go down and one side's going to go up. Okay? All right, number 9. Lee puts 3 bananas on one side of the balanced scale. He puts a paper bag on the other side. Which shows what could be in the paper bag? Could it be A, a watermelon, B, the book, C, a dog biscuit or a dog bone, or D, bricks? Which object would go in that paper bag right here to make it stay up like that? Okay? All right. When you're ready, number 10, draw a scale with objects that weigh about the same on each side. So again, you're going to draw your scale, okay? And you're going to draw something on each side that would weigh about the same, and how your scale would look, okay? All right, so today, when you're finished with this math paper, what you will do is place it on the yellow table. Then, what I would like you to do is go into Seesaw, okay? And you are going to click on the drawing to record yourself drawing a scale, okay, like the one we did in number 10, where you would draw something that is heavier, where the scale would go down on one side, and something that is lighter that would go up on the other side, okay? And then I would like you to, if we have time, record your voice saying, today in math we learned about objects that are heavier and lighter. In the picture I drew today, you can see that whatever object you drew is heavier than whatever object you drew that is going up on your scale, okay? If you have any questions, please see me and I'd be glad to help you. But just remember that you have to try to problem solve on your own a little bit, okay? And when you go to record, make sure you're finding a spot in the room where it's not too loud, where it's going to pick up voices on your iPad, okay? And then when you have that done, if there's still time before we go to recess, then please work on front row on your iPad until recess, okay? All right, good job today, and I know you can do it, all right? All right, thank you.